Hey, Rumble World Entertainment, Predator Badlands. When you think that and you see what the story is, did you ever think that the character of Naru from Prey could have possibly been in it? Not to mention, what do you think about the idea that this movie could be leading to an Avengers level endgame? Because that's what we're being told now. Because apparently Badlands originally featured the return of Naru, and Dan Trachtenberg is teasing an Avengers level endgame. So we may as well dive into this because there's a lot of crap going on with this movie. So Predator Badlands arrives in theaters on Friday, but many fans already have one eye on the future. Filmmaker Dan Trachtenberg previously helmed Prey and teased the return of the movie's lead Naru alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch at the end of the animated Predator Killer of Killers. Now, again, the one thing you need to keep in mind with the fact that they're putting in Dutch into this, Dutch was not in the first cut of that movie. The one they released, he was not in. The one they wanted audiences to see first, he was not in. Later on, they did the extended version where him and Harrigan were in there. So you can essentially look at that and say, well, is that really the canon? Because that's not the movie you showcased first. You showcased it with Naru, not Dutch. So while we may eventually get a team up featuring various characters from the Predator franchise, it seems the current idea is for a new Alien vs Predator movie. Badlands somewhat sets up the stage for that with the presence of Weyland-Yutani. Now, the one thing we've been told as well is there are no xenomorphs, and that is confirmed. There are no xenomorphs. By the way, if you didn't know, there's no mid-credit or post-credit scenes. So the movie does not actually set up anything. And he's even said that it doesn't actually set up or is intended to set up an AVP. However, you're going to look at it and say, well, of course AVP is going to come down the road if you're using Weyland-Yutani. So talking to comicbook.com, Trachtenberg was asked about his endgame. So this is what he said. In my mind, what made Avengers work was that it wasn't the first MCU movie and it wasn't the second MCU movie. That we had spent time bonding with characters and their individual stories and making sure that those individual movies were cool and had interesting premises unto themselves. So, if we were to ever do something where things collide, it would be after we've gotten to know and bonded with things in their own individual stories. That's understandable what he's saying, but at the same time, you're talking about Predator movies here. You're not talking about Avengers or even DC to get to the Justice League. We're talking about Predator. So this idea of, oh, they all need standalone movies, like, to do what? Like, at the end of it, who are they all coming to fight? There's no going to be big bad Predator that all the other Predators have to come to. That would just be ridiculous. So that part of it is stupid, but it's understandable what he's trying to say there. So when the site pointed out that many fans call him the Kevin Feige of the Predator franchise, that really? Well, if this movie bombs, then yeah, congratulations, you will be, because Kevin Feige, you have to remember, yes, he was there at the beginning of the Marvel movies. He wasn't in control of the Marvel movies. That has only recently come. So this idea of Kevin Feige always getting all the praise, it wasn't never just Kevin Feige. So, and this dude has done 2 movies that were released on streaming. This is the first big challenge. And by all accounts, it looks like it's set to flop. But the idea of saying, you're the Kevin Feige, ridiculous. But he replied anyway saying, I take that as a compliment because I think Kevin Feige is a genius and what he created is unprecedented in the history of cinema. I've just made a couple of good Predator movies so far and hoping for a third. We'll see how that turns out. Talk about blowing smoke up your own ass there. Yeah, I made 2 good movies. It's like, that's your opinion. Why don't you ask the audience if they think the movies are good? And you've just seen there where Trachtenberg doesn't even understand how Marvel actually came to be. The fact that he's like, what Kevin Feige created is unprecedented. Feige didn't create it. He was there for most of it, but he wasn't there at the very, very beginning. Don't forget, the actual very first MCU movie, and it is down as MCU canon, was the Hulk. Keep that in mind, and that was at what, Universal? So, and I don't think Feige had any involvement with that one. So, in a separate conversation with Screen Time, Trachtenberg revealed that his original plan for Predator Badlands was for Amber Midthunder to reprise her prey role as Naru. That means she would have fought alongside the Yautja deck in place of Ella Fanning's Weyla-Yutani synthetic Faya. Now, of course, that would indicate that she would have been taken from her time period and brought all the way up to the future. That still doesn't make sense when it comes to the flintlock pistol. She has that in Prey. It's in Killer of Killers, but it's the case of, well, how did you capture her and why would she have still had it? And why would you use it? It makes no sense. So he said this. I did think about the pairing of Naru and Deck before it was Faya. But then I thought, well, now then, I'm not doing the premise, and I really wanted to do the premise of the Predator as the protagonist and no humans in the movie. And so it became further down the line we can do some cooler things, maybe with Naru. So that was his original idea. There was a lot more to it. Now, it's not in this article, but apparently he was really kind of hinting, and it sounded terrible. Mind you, this movie could still be absolutely terrible, but his original plan was like to basically make the Predator a superhero. Now, it's bad enough that the Predator, the bloody thing, came down with an Iron Man suit. You remember that? The end of the movie, the bloody Iron Man Predator suit. It was like, what the hell is this? He was talking about making Deck like a superhero, and that it was going to form this type of Avengers type crap, which goes back to him talking about an Avengers level endgame for the movies. But you're also looking at the idea of, okay, you're getting one movie onto the big screen, which is Badlands. Your other two were direct to streaming because the studio had no confidence in releasing them on the big screen. And you're talking about this big Avengers style endgame. Well, you run into a problem immediately there, because not a hell of a lot of people actually watched either Prey or Killer of Killers, because not a hell of a lot of people have Disney Plus. So the idea, because you need that to watch obviously Hulu and stuff, so you would be introducing characters into movies on the big screen that you're already in a Predator movie telling people, oh, by the way, there's homework you have to do. You need to go back and watch these things. That's going to alienate people immediately. Overall, do I think Badlands will succeed and they get to continue this stuff? No, at least not continue it on the big screen. I think, and I've said it after those trailers came out and more information came out about it, that I feel that this movie is going to be a gigantic disaster and bomb hard at the box office. And if that's the case, they're going to end up killing the franchise, and they're either going to do one of two things: finish it all together and not make any more, or it's going to be relegated to be nothing more than a streaming service outing, which is a horrendous idea for an IP like Predator. But what do you guys think? Would you have liked to have seen Naru show up in this? What do you think of the idea that we could eventually see a Avengers level endgame with Predators? Let me know what you think about it all. And of course, do you think the movie will actually be successful? Let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button, all that good stuff. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.